Hello guys, this is Roy 69501 and welcome to another Batman Eternal recap. What I'm going to do is I'm going to display the last issue where I give you my thoughts of Batman Eternal, which happens to be issue number 13. Check this out. Awesome, huh? Before I start, I want to wish everybody to have I wish everybody had an excellent weekend, and I wish everybody to have an excellent week. Oh yeah. So I'm gonna start giving you my thoughts about Batman Eternal from issue number 14. Here is 15. White is cover. 16 and 17. Check this out. Oh yeah. Well, I have to say that for me these 4 comic books have been 50-50. I will explain in a minute. So I'm going to start with issue 14. Okay, on issue 14 we have the continuation from this one that has to do with the Penguin story arc. You see, the Penguin, he's still mad because he got his money stolen by, supposed to be by Catwoman, but it was not Catwoman, it was by Falcone. So the thing is that the Penguin is looking for Falcone. Falcone, he's hiding on his very, very secret place, secret hideout. So the thing is that Lieutenant Barnes, that's the new guy who took James Gordon's place, so he came up with a way how to apprehend those 2 guys with everything in it. So the thing is that this was smart. I like this story. The thing is that Lieutenant Barnes, he knew that the Penguin was looking for Falcone. So Lieutenant Barnes, he tipped off the Penguin and called him on the phone and say, "Hey Penguin, I know where Falcone is hiding. So you want to know where it is, just ask and I will tell you." And that's what the Penguin did. He said, "I want to know what Falcone is, I want you to tell me now." Fine. So Lieutenant Barnes, he told Penguin where Falcone was hiding. You see, and that's where this story, at least the beginning of this story, starts. Finally, the Penguin arrives where Falcone is hiding. By the time he gets to Falcone, the Penguin killed 12 bodyguards that belongs to Falcone. What Lieutenant Barnes did was that he made Falcone and the Penguin confront each other, let him fight, not to the death, although the Penguin wants to kill Falcone real bad. And Falcone, for the first time I saw him afraid of somebody that it was not Batman. He was a little afraid of the Penguin. So while all that's going on, Lieutenant Barnes, he's waiting behind the door with a newswoman. You see, because Lieutenant Barnes, he wants to do things with the newspaper. Because Lieutenant Barnes knows that the new commissioner, they're all corrupted on the police station. So, because everything that because we know that no matter who Batman's apprehend, the bad guy is going to let it loose because Falcone says so. So Lieutenant Barnes came up with this idea, as I said, to make everything look like it was Batman's fault. And into that Batman's fault, he apprehended Penguin and Falcone. Make it look like they are kind of like they were part of Batman gang or not. So, on top of that, Lieutenant Barnes has his newswoman listen to everything, and with a TV camera. I mean, She was recording everything. So whatever Falcon says and the Penguin says, everything goes against them. So they both apprehend them. So the lieutenant, he was so, the commissioner, he was such a bad mood for what Lieutenant Barnes did. He said, what the hell you did? Well, look, you told me to apprehend Batman. I got a tip off that the Batman has some new guys working for him. I went to that place, and what I find out happens to be the Penguin and Falcon. It's not my fault. So after all that happens, Lieutenant Barnes, he goes to the booth, and then he meet up with Batman. And Batman knows what he did. He said, look, Lieutenant Barnes, I know what you did. Well, maybe you do, maybe you don't. Because there's no way that, I mean, nobody knows who made the call to the Penguin. And Batman, of course, he has the best toys. He told him, look, with my computer I can find what you cannot find, I can find it. And I know that that phone call came from your phone that you have right now on your pocket. You know, and Lieutenant Barnes says, look, we all have to do what we have to do. I wish that we can work together. And because he did that, 12 men died. But in Lieutenant Barnes' mind, he was like, yeah, 12 people died, but they were all bad guys, so it's not much of a loss there. I can get his point. And also can get Batman's point. Like I say, it's kind of like 50-50. So, that part of the Penguin Falcon is over for now. Also, we see that Scarecrow is running away, and the Scarecrow is scared to death. Which I'm surprised. I've never seen Scarecrow to be so scared when Scarecrow, in his mind, happens to be the god of fear. So he should not be afraid of anything. But obviously he is, which I cannot understand who he was running from. So we see that James Gordon Jr. and James Gordon, they're talking. Finally, James Gordon find out that his son's still alive, that he's not dead, and he told his dad, look, such a day, such a time, all the doors going to be open, so you can walk away, and you can get out of here. And James Gordon is like, if I should leave, I should not leave. She's like, eventually James Gordon decide not escape. He said, look, I did what I did, I'm going to pay for it. Fine. Then after all that, we go to Arkham Asylum. We see Batwing. They go to Arkham Asylum. The thing is that the whole Arkham Asylum is a big mess. Dead bodies everywhere. It's like it's being closed for many years. I mean, just mess. And this is the beginning of a new story arc. Inside this story arc, that we're going now into the supernatural elements of Gotham City, kind of like ghost stories, you know, supernatural ghosts, spirits, things moving along, and all that. So basically, that's what it is. So everybody's here is possessed from everybody. A bunch of dead bodies or spirits arise from the floor of Arkham Asylum and start to attack Batwing and Lieutenant Bard. Bard, actually, B-A-R-D. Yeah, Bard. So, the thing is that all that attack, all this and that, well, guess who is kind of like raising the dead? Happens to be, if I can find his name, Bygone. His name is Bygone. Kind of like skinny, short, skinny, big-headed guy. Actually, he looks like Frankenstein, but on a short version. So, actually, he looks like Frankenstein from the black and white movies, the first Frankenstein. Who's the name? The actor who plays Frankenstein, Dwarkoff. Hippie collectibles know the name of that actor. He's a big fan of those Dracula and Frankenstein movies. What's the name? Dwarkoff, something like that. I don't quite remember. But Hippie Collectibles, he knows the name of that actor, of the actor who plays the first Frankenstein black and white movie. So also we see that that I forgot to mention it here, and then we see that we see Red Robin using the Batwing, and inside, he's flying, and then there's somebody inside of the plane hiding, and also having dinner, which happens to be what's her name? Just so many names here. For me, sometimes they are kind of hard to keep up. Hopper Row, she's hiding inside of the Batplane. She's all comfortable, and Robin says, "Oh, hell with her. Let her be uncomfortable all the way." So finally they arrive. Robin tells her, "Look, stay here. This is dangerous," and blah blah blah. And she said, "Look, I'm going to follow you no matter where you go, because I want to know what happened." So that's what happened. So they go to someplace else. Basically, that was on issue 15. Issue 16, this one. So here we see that this is the dark side of the Arkham Asylum. We're dealing now with ghosts and spirits and beyond. We see also the Joker's daughter. She's kind of like into the black magic stuff. And we know that Batman and black magic, they don't like each other. It's not they don't like each other. It's like Batman, even though all he knows, what he knows, he's kind of hard. It's a little bit hard for him to deal with the spirit world, or the magic world, because it's nothing that you can touch or punch or grab. It's just there. There's nothing you can do about it. I mean, the best way to fight magic is by magic, so that's one thing that Batman don't know how. Maybe someday he knows. That would be fun. So we see that Mr. Pig, he being apprehended also. They send him to the Arkham Asylum to put him in jail. And then suddenly he's transported to the death zone of Arkham Asylum. It's kind of like the death zone. So from here we go to Tokyo. You see Red Robin and Hopper Road, where she was hiding. He was flying to Tokyo to trying to figure out what's going on with Falcone, the guy who's supposed to win the war back in Tokyo. So they go to this scientist's house, and they're all being attacked by some kind of mechanical tentacles, which eventually they know how to go around it and kill those mechanical tentacles, and the guy just shows up and says, "Fantastic. Now you have to survive. Now we can talk." Which that was kind of like, okay. Let's see, then from there we go back to Arkham Asylum. We see that Batwing and Joker's daughter are talking, and then some giant, strong, unstoppable guy. It looks like if he was Hercules. Big guy. His name is, Maxi. The name doesn't go with him. I mean, I gave Maxi. I mean, you name a guy Maxi, you might think, well, just an average man. No, I mean, you give a name Maxi to a guy, he's about 7 feet tall, 300 pounds pure muscle, it's like the name doesn't go with him. So it's kind of not funny. And then they start fighting. Batwing and Maxi will eventually Batwing apprehend or subdue Maxi. Then after that we see that there's a guy kind of like he's control of that, and the name is Deacon. I know. And also we see that between the present and 5 years in the future, between those 3 years in the future, we see like a false preacher, which eventually it just came out on this issue, unless it has come out before, which I don't remember, but it just appeared on this issue, kind of like a false preacher. So he's just preaching about death and this and that, and then he has his followers. And the thing is that 3 years in the future, that false preacher managed to apprehend Batman. tie him up with chains in some sewer pipe, which eventually we all know that Batman's going to escape from that and fight the false preacher. The false preacher has a name, just I don't quite remember the name of him, so I give him the name the false preacher because he acts and talks like a preacher. He's always preaching. Oh, this and that, got this and got that, but eventually behind his mind he's just preaching the wrong thing to the wrong people. And the people that is listening to him is following him blindly. The thing is that Batman eventually convinces his followers to say, look, this guy, what he's saying is not true. He's a lie. He's a con man. So everything that he says so far, everything is a lie because he's sending you to death. Why he doesn't go himself? Because it's easy, me being a preacher, and tell everybody, okay, look, I want you to go here and jump off the building. I want you to go over there and do whatever you gotta do, just eventually die. I mean, that's easy for the preacher. So what Batman did was he made the preacher to say, okay, now you kill me. Now, since you like to preach so much about killing, well, this is your chance to kill me. And that's what Batman says to the false preacher. Kill me. You get a chance. Now do it. Come on. Put the money where your mouth is. So the thing is that the preacher, he was kind of scared because he seems like he's a non-violent man, which it doesn't make sense. So the thing is that the false preacher, he hesitates. He has the chance at least to try to kill that, but he doesn't do it. So his followers, they start kind of like peer pressure the false priest. Yeah, go kill him. Kill Batman. Come on, show us how you kill. I mean, you've been preaching all this time, now kill it. Kill him. So the thing is that the false preacher doesn't move. And his followers, they finally realize what the preacher was not what he was preaching to be. So he get beat up. I believe that his followers took the false preachers and beat him with sticks. Actually, I would say that they would beat him to death. And the funny thing is that Batman is just standing there, watching how his followers are lynching him. And just Batman is just standing there. Now, I assume that the false preacher, he was beat to death. So then from there we go to Arkham Asylum. Now, remember, that was 3 years in the future. And then after all that, after the false preacher got beat up by his own followers, we jump 5 years in the future. You see, this is the thing about these comic books. Sometimes you go although the whole story goes 5 years in the future, sometimes you go back 2 years in the future, 3 years. So it's kind of weird. That's why I say that it was kind of like 50-50. So basically, we go back to the hell of Arkham Asylum. To this guy named, what's his name? The new spirit guy. Forgot his name. It's not Big On, it's the new guy. He's in here. Deacon. His name is Deacon. So we see Deacon with the Joker's daughter. They're kind of like buddies. And just raising all kind of giant bats, half dead, half bats, half alive, half monster, half mutant, half from half. So it's kind of weird. So this is the kind of like the dark side of Gotham City. And then the end of it was, well, that they're going to fight Killer Croc. Killer Croc is going to be the next one. But as you can see here, everything is about some giant monster spirits, half from half. So that's why it was kind of like 50-50. I like issue number 14 issue 14 and 15 because they were dealing with the Penguin and Falcon and Lieutenant Bart about his boss, how he did what he did, and Batman. That was really, really interesting. But it was strange. It was very strange because we go 3 years in the future, and then we go there are times where we go 5 years in the future when all this is happening on the present. So I don't know. But it was weird. It was strange comic book. It was really strange. Well, it was a little bit hard for me to follow the dark side of Arkham Asylum. I mean, I know that that's the bad place to be. That's where the most crazy criminals are locked up. On top of that, you're gonna have a bunch of ghosts and mutants and have man and have bat and have everything. That's not. I don't know. It's like the gates of hell just open up and they decide to move to Arkham Asylum. That's what it looks like. So overall, I like issue 14 and 15 and half of the 16. But this dark side of Arkham Asylum was kind of hard for me to follow. So I guess I have to read it and wait for issue 18, which I haven't read it yet, and 19 to read it, because it seems like that's going to be the new story arc inside that story arc. So this was my recap for Batman Eternal. And as far as up to now, I will give it 4 out of 5, all of them, because overall, even though I find it strange comic book, it was fun. I mean, actually having fun reading it. So even though that sometimes gets a little bit too complicated, but other than that, it's been a fun read. I like it. I love it. Well, guys, this is it. I hope that you like this video. Till later. Bye.